Greetings. I'm Naima Latif with the Media Connection TV, and we are here with His Royal Highness King Togbi and Nyaho Tamakloe the Sixth of Ghana. And we've just witnessed a beautiful ceremony naming American born Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. as a King of Africa for all of his great work across the world. And now we want to hear from those who have come across the water to bestow this honor. Thank you so much for joining
Oh,
us,
thank you so
King.
much, Naima. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm very impressed with your words and also the ceremony. But you mentioned some people that we know in history: Marcus Garvey, of course, Nelson Mandela, and many who promoted unity. And yet, that's one of our greatest challenges because of the misunderstandings of the people across the water and even within the continent. And yet, we know the answer is if we can work together. What are some of the steps you would recommend to perhaps bridge the communication gap so that we can work together economically, socially, politically, and above all, spiritually?
I've reflected on the last day's event, and I've talked to a lot of people, and I'm very sure that regardless of any process in terms of the richness of African Americans, there's something that is missing, and that is that spiritual uh, steadiness. I feel so strongly that it's about time to call for truth and reconciliation for African Americans right here in America so that everybody can speak about their feelings, speak about their journey. And I believe so strongly that through that conversation, we can begin to understand each other, and that might be a process that might start the groundwork for healing for African Americans.
Now, one of the things that really impressed me about, especially what they did in South Africa and with Nelson Mandela and Truth and Reconciliation committees, is that they allowed for people to admit when they had done wrong and to atone for it. There's a lot of anger
Yeah.
in African Americans, a lot of anger that perhaps they feel that those who are still on the continent sold them out.
Right.
How do we reconcile those who were shipped here and abroad and those who remained in the continent and even some families who might have participated in the slave trade?
I think the answer is very, very simple. When you are wrong, you right the wrong. When you make a mistake, you say, I am sorry. Two things that drive human society is the affirmation, saying, I love you, and also being able to get through to people that are suffering. Our existence here is based on our ability to reduce suffering for each other. So if we, wherever we see suffering, we should be able to reach out and say, I'm sorry, particularly if you are sure that you have taken part in impacting that individual. I, I mean, it's tough for people in the diaspora to accept that we took part in some of these difficult circumstances. We are very sure that the role played by our European people was grave. But we also took part in the hinterlands, fighting to conquer each other and selling some of our brothers and sisters into slavery. History has documented that. It may not be the biggest element in terms of the situation for African Americans, but I, in particular, am ready to own my part, my ancestral part in slavery. And I hope that by saying I'm sorry, that will begin the process of healing for you all in America, particularly African Americans.
Yes, it was very impressive, the fact that you did say, I'm sorry, and I think that people really felt that in their hearts. Now, as we look at the various family groups that are in Africa, and the fact that there are still some issues, still conflicts. And then we in America, we have conflicts, but we have no memory of family differences to base that on. We're just in conflict.
Right.
And yet, the main thing is accepting differences so that we can work together. How do we teach a philosophy of unity and acceptance to the next generation so that they don't repeat our past mistakes?
I think where the difficulty for most people in African Americans, as compared to myself, I can trace back 600 or 700 years of my history, and therefore it's very easy for me to feel rooted in my history. But when it comes to African Americans, there's always a stopgap somewhere where they can go beyond that, and they're not even sure what, in terms of the line of genealogy, where they have to tend to certain kinds of divinations, or I don't know what to call it, that tells them that they are 30% from here, they are 50% from here, and it's all very, very confusing. What I think is that that conversation between us, the diaspora, particularly with the work of the United Nations, calling for the International Decade for the recognition of people of African descent, last from the period of 2015 to 2024, should give us that platform where we can have that conversation and talk about our situation. I told a young lady that it's not about coming from a particular country, it's about recognizing that you come from Africa, and we back home are willing to welcome you and help you settle in any form that we can. And the conversation must continue. We love you, we care about you, and it's about time for you to return to your ancestral home. It's your home just like mine.
Well, lastly, there are a lot of people who are doing the DNA testing and they're discovering where they come from. I've recently discovered I have great roots in Nigeria. So, what would be the process of returning home, so to speak, if someone wanted to perhaps repatriate or establish a residency in an African country? What's the first step they should go about that?
I mean, fortunately for us, Ghana has taken a very big step in welcoming African Americans. It started in 1992 with Jerry John Rawlings, has continued so far with Nana Akufo-Addo. Visit Ghana, talk to us. We have a diaspora office. We're making it very, very much easy for African Americans to get their citizenship, increase your network, visit the rural areas. I mean, you just have to take that first step and calm down. And you will find that we are very, very hospitable. We're people that care, and you will not regret it. But it's about time. Just make up your mind. It's your home. You need to come home. It's about time. My role is to come here to encourage your return to your ancestral home. There is no two ways about it. That is where your healing will start. Regardless of how much you are and what you made of this country, Ghana was formed on the basis of freedom. And freedom means that African Americans, to truly feel freedom, must feel that freedom in Ghana. You are welcome, all of you. It's your home. Please,
Right.
come home.
Come home. You heard it from the king. Well, we thank you so much for coming to America and inspiring us and giving recognition and honor to a great one among us, Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr., and we look forward to your return.
Thank you so much, Naima, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to express myself. We love you once again, and we are truly sorry for whatever we've done. There's no need to hold back. We are here to hold your hands and to walk in unison back to your ancestral home. Thank you so much, Naima. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Naima Latif with the Media Connection TV for On Air News, and we'll see you next time.